traditional mooring is generally a lump of concrete. They have chain attached to that block, and that runs across the seabed to a lighter chain or a rope which comes up to the boat. That chain has to get from one side of the block to the other side when the wind changes and the tide changes. And when it does that, it drags around and scours out the whole area and pulls the seagrass out by the roots and just leaves a sandy patch that has no life in it at all.
Seagrass is one of those sort of underrated substances, or one of those plants that marine environment that not only does it provide a nursery ground for fish and food for fish, but it also stabilises the bottom, takes up CO2 and nutrients and gives off oxygen, which in a marine environment is essential. Well, everyone likes seahorses, and seagrass is the seahorse's habitat. But there's a lot of juvenile fish and pipe horses and a lot of protected animals that we know now live in seagrass and around those shallow areas.
I like fishing. In my pastime, I spend all my time at work in a boat, and then on weekends I go out in the boat and go fishing. I love catching squid, and squid live in the seagrass, and the more areas there are for those to grow and to be nurtured, the more fish there are for me to catch personally. So I saw a need and decided to fix it. I'm the inventor of the Seagrass friendly mooring system. We saw a need up in Newcastle and Nelson Bay, where my home base is, for a mooring system that will counteract the damage that's being done by current moorings. The way our mooring system works, we replace the traditional block of concrete with a single screwed into the ground anchor point. On top of the Seagrass mooring is a drive head with a 360-degree swivel on it. When the boat changes direction, the swivel rotates and the shock absorber points to whichever direction the boat is in. If we have wind and wave action or a storm, inside this tube here is a shock absorber, and that takes all of the loading out on the boat. That, of course, is all kept above the seabed level and allows the seagrass to recolonise right back up against the seagrass mooring post.
The Hawkesbury and Nepean Catchment Management Authority has been supporting this seagrass friendly mooring project through funding and working with other partners, including Pittwater Council and the Department of Primary Industries and Ocean Watch. So the project has involved replacing the original concrete moorings, the swing moorings, with seagrass friendly moorings.
To date, we've put in approximately 250 of our seagrass moorings in Pittwater, Manly Cove, Nelson Bay, as far north as Moreton Bay and as far south as Port Phillip Bay.
Well, that is a 4-year project measuring the regrowth of all 3 species around the moorings that have been replaced, with the controls of the conventional moorings, which are still in place, and also some controls where no moorings exist to track this seagrass growth generally. The ones we're studying down in Manly Cove and others that we've seen around this local area, the seagrass is already growing back. Immediately there's sort of an increase in fish species and fish biomass, because their allowed breeding sort of conditions are optimum.
Each one of the moorings that we've put in has replaced a traditional mooring. Now that traditional mooring will scour out 18 square metres of seagrass. That equates to about 25 football fields of seagrass that's been allowed to regrow or not be damaged in the first place.
These seagrass friendly moorings that operate without a chain are the best step forward we've had in 20 odd years.